everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Magical Jill, and today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Dragon Ball, the game I suck at. This is a really fun game. I like this. We're talking about is it worth buying? You might be watching this on Degenerate. It's on a playlist. You know, I do the Is It Worth Buying playlist where I include the other channels Jill and I do too. Or you might have found it on Jill's channel. Really, we're just taking a look at that right there. Is this game worth buying? It's our first impressions. It's not a full review. I am a mega fan of Dragon Ball. I'm a lot further along than you are, Jill, in it, but you still love Dragon Ball.
Very much so. But before we get into it, I do want to pose a question of the day.
Ooh, can I do this one?
Yes.
Mine is, would you want a sequel to any other Dragon Ball series game? And so what I mean by that is, this is technically a sequel to the Budokai Tenkaichi series. Would you want one to a different Dragon Ball game series? I want another Fighters. So let us know.
All right, sounds good.
I answered.
Thank you for answering. But they can also answer too.
But I'm influencing their vote.
You're going to influence? Okay, sounds good. So, because you are farther in the anime than me, you said that you thought a lot of these cutscenes and story mode and stuff would hit a lot like harder home for people, you know?
If they've watched more of it or read the manga and stuff?
Yeah, if they've watched a lot more of it.
I 100% think so. Also, if you've played any of the old Budokai Tenkaichi games, this is very much just a modern release. This basically could be called Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
So, and the last one didn't come out until,
2007.
Yeah, 2007.
Well, and there was a game there in the middle. It was Tenkaichi Tag Team. It was called Dragon Ball Tag Versus, technically. But that was in 2010. And that wasn't one of the numbered ones.
So it's been over 10 years.
Yes, it's been a very long time. Like 2000.
But has it been over 9,000 is the big question.
Oh, they say the line.
They do say the line in the game. I was very excited about that. I thought it was really fun.
Jill's basically the person who, like Leonardo DiCaprio's character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She slaps my arm and points at the TV and says, "They said the thing. They're doing the thing."
I am
basically
that kid. I'm that person.
So, Jill, what did you like so far about this? Because there's a lot of stuff I can run through, but we're on your channel. I don't want to do everything here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely want you to run through your things. First of all, I love the graphics. They look incredible. They look just like they look as if you're watching the anime, but in video game form. Does that make sense? It's very amazing looking.
Well, you love this style of graphics in general, the more
do.
cartoony or sometimes cel-shaded or stuff. And something, you talked to me about is, you go back to like a PS3 game or an Xbox 360 game that at the time was trying to be realistic or real world.
And they look like ass now.
Yep, but you go back to a game like Borderlands, or you go back to a series like Budokai Tenkaichi or anything like that, or even Dragon Ball Budokai 3, the HD remaster on Xbox 360.
It still holds up pretty decently.
They look like a cartoon.
Yeah. Take the Arkham games, for example. They're not trying to be super duper realistic. They still got that cartoony feel to them.
At least the first few, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of them look still great.
If people look at the graphics of this game in 10 years or 20 years, do you think it'll look bad to them? Because I don't.
I genuinely think it will look really good for its age. People will be like, wow, did this really come out that long ago? That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where it feels timeless. It feels like something you could play for a very long time, come back to, play again. It's one of those games. It reminds me of kind of like a DS game. Where you always just kind of want to come back to it eventually.
Yeah, and I think Dragon Ball games are pretty good at that. In some ways, this, or even Fighters, or even Budokai 3, a lot of these, just normal Budokai 3, because I sucked at Tenkaichi, to be fair. A lot of these, to me, kind of have that Super Smash Bros. Feel to them, where if you're a fan of these characters, you're going to pop this game back in, turn it on, every once in a while at least mess around.
Yeah, that's completely what I thought too. I really loved that, and I love the custom battles. I don't understand how to do the event or what are they called?
Cutscenes?
The cutscene things.
Yeah, you can make your own, and we ended up with a ass shot of Vegeta Grade 8 mode.
Goku just staring at his butt. I couldn't figure it out. I'm too stupid. But other people online made really cool, little cutscene things, and it's
Well, show the one. Show where I think I lost, because I'm terrible, but show the one where we had Beerus going up against Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and that was one that somebody made. They made that.
It felt like an episode of the anime where it's like it had the opening, it had an opening scene, then you got in the fight, then it had an ending, and it had an ending based on if you won or lost against Beerus, which was so cool. I don't even know how that person made that. It was so awesome. I loved it.
And that's why this is a first impressions. I think we definitely need more time. And it reminded me, actually, old WWE games had this kind of thing, like create a storyline.
Yeah.
Where you would be able to create a wrestler or not. Even you could use, a lot of times ones that were already there, and you could have like different cutscenes you made where someone would walk in, a text bubble would pop up, they'd be yelling at someone else, like maybe John Cena comes in, he's yelling at Randy Orton like, why did you sleep with my girlfriend? And then Randy Orton, you could have him talk about selling drugs to like another wrestler. I mean, you could just write in whatever you want. You could be crazy with it, right? This isn't that free, because I think they learned their lesson from games like that of like, oh, people are psycho. They're just going to go crazy with this.
Oh, but it's so funny.
But it is so funny when they are psycho. I have a huge respect for games that have user-generated content. Do you want a storyline on Planet Namek where Piccolo has to fight against, Goku Black, and they're fighting over this random thing? You can have that. Or do you want a World Martial Arts tournament where Caulifla has to fight against Vegeta?
Yeah, I mean, it's really awesome. I love the freedom of the game. I just think it's so much fun. It really feels like you're watching an episode of the show. That's what I love about it. I love that it feels like I'm watching an episode of the show, but then you're interacting with it and you're actually doing the fights. And I think that's really cool. And not only that, but you get to make your own decisions. Like, I'd like you to explain this, because it's kind of like a different timeline sort of thing depending on what you choose.
Well, yeah, you can kind of get to different outcomes in some ways, I believe. We haven't played far enough to, like, hit the point where we'd be getting different outcomes. But a good example of that is we had the option to either team up with Piccolo or not in the, like, kind of in that Saiyan saga arc of Dragon Ball Z near the beginning where Raditz grabs Gohan. And we could either say, yeah, Piccolo, we'll team up with you temporarily, or we could say no and go our own way. And I think that one reason they're probably doing that is because other than Xenoverse, a lot of these games have pretty faithfully followed different anime arcs, and you can only play through the same anime arc so many times. As much as I love this series, we've been rehashing the Z storyline since like the days of the PS2.
Yeah.
So and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a tried and true method. People love this series, and obviously
people love that storyline.
Well, and this game has stuff from GT and Super and stuff like that as well. But my point is, I think that they wanted to go a little bit the Xenoverse route of giving you some creativity.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really cool. I mean, obviously we haven't played enough to see the outcome of these, but I think it's really exciting and interesting that there are choices in general, that you can decide, okay, what do I want Goku to do in this situation? I think that's really fun. Yeah. It's like, I think that's something that a lot of fans kind of wish they could have done, is be able to play as someone like Goku and then make their own decisions.
So I want to hit with a couple of things I like and don't like, and I want either your responses to that if you want to, or things you like or don't like if you don't have anything. One thing I want to say is, if you liked Budokai Tenkaichi, the series, you're going to love this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's anything, like, unfaithful to it from what I remember. I was never good at those games, and I'm still not good at this. I've found that for me, I prefer the gameplay style of something like Fighters. I feel like I can learn that better. I feel like it's a little less fast-paced, mashy kind of to get good.
We should probably mention, too, you have problems with your hands and nerves.
Right, yeah, I have fibromyalgia and erythromyalgia and stuff like that. So, like, games that are really fast, like mashy, are hard for me. That I want to say that doesn't make the game bad. It's just, it's made it difficult for me to play compared to some of the other Dragon Ball games I've played.
And it's difficult for you to get good at it because it hurts.
Yes, like, I can't spend 20 hours practicing fighting straight like someone could if they're...
You can spend, like, an hour or two, max. So that means, for people out there who have chronic pain, arthritis, fibromyalgia, the stuff that we kind of deal with, I don't think that this game is for you, like, if you're wanting to play a game for more than a few hours at a time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it is a great game to play just for fun, casually. Probably don't play it 8 hours straight if you have hand problems.
Yeah, I still think you could play it.
Yeah.
And I think you're saying that too, depending on who you are. And I'm sure that there's accessibility controllers that would make this easier for some people. But even other than just that, I'm having a really hard time pinning down how to do the combat well.
I have a hard time wrapping my brain around all of the buttons and what they do. And to be honest with you, I have that problem with a lot of games.
Well, it's weird. It's weird to me though, Jill, because like, one, I don't think you're bad at games like you're kind of saying here. But two, I really don't think I'm bad at games. You know, like I play through the Dark Souls games.
You're great at Stellar Blade, which is very impressive.
I'm not great at Stellar Blade, but I can beat it. I think that it's frustrating to me though, like where I feel like it's hard to measure certain things about the game. That's why I don't want to go too far down certain avenues. Like I've seen a lot of people complain about difficulty. I get that. You can turn the difficulty down, but then you can't complete the optional side objective type stuff as much as the bonus ones.
I take away points for that. I take away points for that because as somebody who enjoys playing games on an easier difficulty, it's just something that I think is really fun. I really enjoy playing like that. I think it's really kind of a shame that it feels like you're being punished for playing it like that when they gave you the option. You know, if you're gonna do that, then be like Dark Souls and just don't give me the option.
Well, and that's my thing always in the past. Like, I don't want video game developers forced to give me an easier difficulty.
Yeah.
Unless they're just ass at developing their own game and balancing it, in which point that's on them. I've noticed a lot of people complaining about difficulty. It's just hard for me because I'm like, well, is this part I'm at difficult because it's hard? Or is it difficult because I'm bad? And there is a difference. You know, so for me, when I'm looking at this game and I'm losing against the computer, not just other people, and I'm seeing everybody kind of complain about this, I'm having a hard time understanding, well, am I losing because this part is hard? Or am I losing because it's harder for me to play this type of game and I'm having a hard time getting good at it? Like, I'm having a hard time getting from where I am to where the enemy is, like dashing there without running out of energy, and by the time I get there, they'll move. I wish that more of the gameplay was a little bit on the ground. Like, I had a much easier time keeping up with the gameplay of Xenoverse, and that already, you know, was a lot.
It feels like in this game, the characters have some sort of weird obsession with, like, flying in the air.
Well, yeah, and Dragon Ball is certainly like that, but, like, it feels to me like the CPU is always moving away from me as far as possible to charge their energy. And then by the time I get to them, they're doing like some world-ending move on me.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, that's where I'm like, is this balanced poorly? Like, because I wasn't good at the old ones. Or is it just that I'm not good? So that's something very hard.
I think that's something you gotta listen to veteran players on, for sure.
Yeah, not me. I don't feel like it would be fair to the game. Because as a quality of a game, I think it's a very good game.
And I do think you should also mention the early access stuff.
Basically, you could pay to get early access to this game. There were multiple editions, but the early access was only for digital.
Or the Ultimate.
But the Ultimate was digital.
Oh, you know, I guess that's true.
There was a collector's edition you could get that was physical, but it didn't come with early access.
Yeah, so basically, all of the digital versions, like the Deluxe, the Ultimate, they all came out on Monday. We're recording this on Wednesday. It came out early for those people who are willing to shell out that money. For people who want the physical and were willing to shell out money for the physical, by the way, you don't get early access. It still hasn't come out. It comes out on Friday. So when this goes up, I'm pretty sure it'll be Thursday, so it'll come out the day after this. It's just kind of frustrating to me, to be honest with you, because I really don't like when games do that, where they give you like a ton of early access for the digital version, and then a bunch of these big YouTubers get to make a ton of content on it the day of, and they get all these views. And then these smaller YouTubers like me, or people like me who just really enjoy physical,
you're behind everyone else. If you don't and you want to play online, everybody's already good by the time you get there, because there was 90,000 concurrent players on early access.
Or if it's a story-heavy game, but you really wanted to wait for the physical, you have to avoid spoilers like the plague. So it's just not great for people who like physical. It's kind of like they're incentivizing you to not buy physical at this point, and it's really upsetting and annoying, and I'd expect better from Dragon Ball, to be honest with you. It just made me very upset. I do also think it's interesting that the Ultimate Edition was like $100 and something, and you got like all of this really cool extra stuff for it, which is awesome. But it's like, why was it so expensive, you know?
I think it's really just because they're justifying it by saying, well, we put the season pass in there, but they set the price of the season pass anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I get it's kind of an industry standard, though, now that season passes are $30 to $40, but it ends up being a lot to pay for a game, especially if you don't physically have anything. Like, I feel like a hypocrite for the way we bought this, because for us, if we didn't buy this digitally, we would be, I mean, we're already behind all the first impressions. People are making them day one. I don't know how they have time to do this. I don't know if YouTube is their only job and they don't leave the house or what. But there were people like day one, a few hours in, like, here's my thoughts on all this. And it's like, bro.
How did you play it that fast?
Yeah, how do you even have an opinion yet?
Yeah.
So for me, it's frustrating because we wanted to talk about it. So I'm going to buy the physical disc later. But I hate this because I don't like contributing to the death of physical games or the phasing out of them. I prefer that style of play. And this to me is kind of a tacky thing.
Yeah.
The paying money and getting early access. That's tacky to me. And something that's becoming very common in gaming. But every time it happens, I still think it's worth calling out because it's tacky. Even if every other game coming out this month did it, I still think it's tacky.
But you still don't get that version early, the collector's one. Even if you shelled out all that money for the collector's version, you don't get it early.
I'm sorry, it was $229. But you are right that it's still very expensive. It's basically like you're getting a physical version of the Ultimate, but you're not getting it early, and you're getting this statue of Broly fighting Goku.
That's pretty cool.
But
I still don't understand if you're going to spend all that money why you're not getting it early.
I don't know. Yeah, you'd think they'd at least ship it to you early.
Yeah.
Because it's already on disc, and it's been on disc for a while.
Yeah. You know, that's...
Everybody else got it early.
Yeah, everybody else got it early. And that's assuming that your mail delivery people actually give it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to go too far off track because this is going to be too hard to edit, Jill. But I do want to say that I've been noticing lately if I try and pre-order a game in certain places, they're like, we'll deliver it to you up to 3 days after it comes out.
Yeah.
So
that's not a pre-order.
So if you got the game that way... Like, GameStop has been trying to do that to me. If I wanted to get a game on release date, they're like, oh, you'll get it 1 to 3 days after it comes out. Or Amazon's like, you'll either get it that night or the next morning. It's like, well, okay.
But I'm making content on this.
Well, but even if you're not, though, Jill, everybody else already got better at the game than you because games like this are often played against real people online.
That's true, and there's a huge skill difference depending on how long you've played these games. You know, it's just kind of a shame. I wish that they had just released it all at the same time, you know, so that everybody could go to the store and buy it, or, you know, go to their digital store and buy it at the same time. You know, fairness all across the board. Yeah,
it's unfortunately not a thing anymore in the games industry, but I do think it would have been nice. I think it's worth buying, like, the base game at least.
Game's amazing. It looks so cool. I really, really love it, and it's definitely something that if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, you should definitely play it.
There's a lot more positive here than negative. I don't know if I'll spend as much time playing this as I would playing something like Fighters or Xenoverse just because of my hands. But I still want to play it, and I like it enough that I do, when the disc version is cheaper, want to buy a physical of this just to have it for my collection.
Yes.
So, like, I like it that much. It's just, I don't know for me in my life situation if it's something I could play a ton.
Well, I hope you guys really liked this video. I loved making it. I have an awesome shop called CosmoBunny.shop where I take recycled manga and recycled comic books and I keep them out of a landfill by turning them into keychains, coasters, trays, other such stuff like that.
Yeah, and those are damaged ones, by the way. It's worth mentioning. They're like ones that stores can't sell.
Yeah,
so we take that and transform it into something new.
Yeah, and I think that's really fun and transformative, and it helps keep things out of landfills and helps make recycled art, which is really cool. And so I hope you guys go check that out. I have a discount code for 10% off, which is all caps Sailor. So definitely go check that out. And then I also have a lot more Dragon Ball videos on this channel, and I'm going to make more in the future. So I hope you guys go check those out. Have a great day. Thank you, and I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Bye!